Hello and welcome back to more Phoenix Wright, Attorney Trials and Tribulations. One last episode, we made a lot of interesting discoveries. First off, this case is awesome so far, Turnabout beginnings, but also, Diego Armando, Mia's boyfriend, is Prosecutor Godot. So, I don't know how that's possible, but it's the only logical explanation. Furthermore, Dahlia Hawthorne's back and better than ever, and something I just thought about, like the second after I ended the recording, I pressed stop recording and I'm like, wait a second. Dahlia Hawthorne. And I'm gonna go in the profiles just to try to remind myself of this. Oh, no. Okay. Core record profiles. So, where's Valerie Hawthorne? I don't know how my brain didn't put two and two together until the second after I finished the recording. Doesn't it seem a little bit interesting that Valerie Hawthorne shares the same last name as Dahlia Hawthorne? She's not listed as Dahlia Hawthorne here, but I got news for you. It's her. It's not. So now I'm just thinking, how is it her? Like, physically, how is it her? That's my question. But I get that's clearly important for something. I just don't quite know how yet.
I want to say thanks. You're real good. You really hooked me up.
Thanks. We're almost there. Once I prove that she committed the crime.
Yeah, but there's one more big obstacle we gotta get past.
Obstacle?
Yeah, motive. Why would Miss Alyssa Foster kill a policewoman anyway?
Well, if they're related, you know, like Valerie Hawthorne, Dahlia Hawthorne, that might have something to do with it. And we already have the name. Not here. Back out. Where is it? Here it is. Victims know. Dahlia's name is here. Till this time, the whole truth must come out. Okay. Motive, huh?
Anyway, we still rather need information.
Information, right.
What we need the most is info about this Melissa Foster herself. All we know is that she's student studying literature. And one more thing.
What is it?
Well, the incident that happened 5 years ago, of course. The kidnapping murder case of the Zebra Boys on death.
Zebra Boys.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lied.
Mr. Falls, in that case, tell us more about it. About what happened 5 years ago.
Okay, I trust you. That day, 5 years ago, I dream of it every day. This picture reminds me of everything. Picture looks the same just like then, 5 years ago. Look, it could fall apart any minute.
So it's been broken like that for at least 5 years.
Oh, sorry buddy, but you sound like that one. You sound like the one that could fall apart at any minute. True, I did kidnap her. 5 years ago, I kidnapped my girlfriend, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, wait a second. There we go. There's the name. 5 years ago, I kidnapped my girlfriend, Dahlia Hawthorne. Your girlfriend? Huh?
Hey, hold on. Did you say Hawthorne?
The victim's last name.
Dahlia Hawthorne,
Valerie's little sister. Well, what? Are you... The girl. Let her go.
Shut up. Come closer, and I kill her.
Sorry, but you're not gonna get the chance. The detective back then was Valerie Hawthorne. At first I thought shooting someone for kidnapping was crossing the line, but if it was to protect her little sister, I can understand why she did it.
Wrong. You protect sister. Valerie betrayed me, betrayed us.
What do you mean she betrayed you?
Everything, all lies, all make-believe kidnapping too.
A make-believe kidnapping?
Dahlia, my girlfriend, my love, my teen angel.
Did he actually say my teen angel? He's seen one too many soap operas.
I'll do anything she says, anything Dahlia says.
Anything Dahlia says? Hold on a minute. What you're saying is that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by...
Yeah, me and Dahlia and Valerie.
You staged a fake kidnapping?
Dahlia's family rich, jewelry business, we got one jewel, that's what we thought. Me and Dahlia wrote kidnap note, we sent to her dad. Asked for $2 million diamond, tell him make exchange on Dusky Bridge. We tell him Valerie make transfer cause she knew detective. Hopping a police detective in your pocket is a useful thing, alright. In the end you were planning on splitting the $2 million in 3 ways, huh? Yeah, but the woman... That woman Dahlia, she do it for real. She shoot at me for real, me and Dahlia. I was shot in the arm, Dahlia. She jumped in river.
She jumped in the river? Why?
I couldn't do it. I could never push her. Anyway, I blacked out, waking up with police all over. And that's when they decided to give her the death sentence. I couldn't believe it, that woman, she betrayed me.
She jumped in the river? That man, Terry Falls, he killed her. He threw her off the bridge. He threw my beloved sister into the roaring river 40 feet below. So, this is a crazy conspiracy theory, but we all know the game isn't above bringing people back from the dead after having been poisoned. What if Melissa... Well, I mean, we know that she's Dahlia Hawthorne, but that would imply that she survived. That Dahlia Hawthorne survived jumping into the river somehow and is now back. So, like, my thought process was, okay, so she's just using, like, she's gonna adopt Dahlia Hawthorne's name in the future to prevent herself from being, like, prevent herself from being associated with this case. But what if that's actually her name? And she just, like, but how did she survive? That's my question. How did she survive?
So that's why you called her. You wanted the truth about herself. Yes, but I forget what she looked like, so I should have had to wear a scarf. I don't want to hurt her. Just ask why. Why? Why did you lie? Why did you betray me? I just want to hear answers coming from her mouth, that's all.
So that's why you made a crazy escape like that.
Just one thing, Zuba boy. My senses are tingling all over. Tell me, Mr. Falls, where is it?
Huh? Where's what?
Come on now, kitten. The ransom, the $2 million diamond. Remember that now? Did you give it back to Pops? Did the police take it? I don't know.
Huh? You don't know?
No, really. I don't know. It's gone with Dahlia.
With Dahlia?
It's there on the bridge. Dahlia put it in the backpack. Alcohol with Dahlia gone forever into Eagle River.
It disappeared with Dahlia, huh? Wait a minute. You can come in now, we're about ready to go. Mr. Falls, just one more question. When you said with Dahlia, do you mean the diamond is still missing? Along with the body of Dahlia Hawthorne?
Never found her, my sweet Dahlia.
They never found her.
Swallowed by river, gone Dahlia, my teen angel. Your teen angel, how old was she anyway? Just 14.
14? I guess you were robbing cradles before diamonds.
She plays a fake kidnapping and dismissing the with a rock worth 2 million. Man, oh man, angel these days.
Falls takes the fall and gets a one-way ticket to death row. Is Dahlia Hawthorne an angel, or is she really a...
It's time, kitten. So we have a few more edges up our sleeve now.
You bet. Okay. The only feasible way for Melissa to have had a motive is if she is actually Dahlia Hawthorne. And that sounds obvious, right? Because we know from the future that she's going to adopt the name Dahlia Hawthorne. But the question right now is whether or not she actually is Dahlia Hawthorne, or whether she just adopts that name because she doesn't want to be associated with Melissa Foster. Right? So, could she have feasibly survived the fall? Maybe? I don't actually know. Now, we'll continue with the trial of Mr. Terry Falls. Witness, are you feeling better? Yes, Your Honor. I'll try my best. Oh, you're a brave young lady. Not this again.
I can understand why defense lawyer wanted to get her client off the hook. However, to try to pin the crime on an innocent student is...
What are you talking about?
My witness is not the person on trial here. She's an innocent bystander who witnessed a violent crime, that's all.
Uh-huh.
What possible reason would a girl like this have for burning a policeman?
I mean, how long do you have? Because I can go into it all if you want. Well, Mr. You have any answer of motive? Yes, of course. I think.
Oh, you're still out there as tame as kitten.
Mr. Armando.
Listen, a lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. Smiling on the outside while your guts are twisted in knots is the mark of a pro.
Maybe so, but I wish you would quit grinning at me like that. Excuse me? May I speak, Mr. Judge? Of course, Mr. Judge is already anytime you like. I'd like to say something. Some people here are suspicious of me, right? That's why I just wanted you, Mr. Judge, to know that it's not true. Okay, Melissa Foster's history.
I was out of the country until the year before last. Until I entered college, I had never even been to Eagle Mountain before, and I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt a police officer. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago? Or kidnapping a poor guy.
He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember what she looks like.
Precisely.
Furthermore, she has no possible motive for committing murder. Indeed.
You're up to bat, kitten. Sharpen those claws and put on your best smile.
You bet. Somehow I have to tie her to this case. Okay, well, let's start with the fact that he doesn't remember anything about it. He told us this. A grudge?
Well, the policewoman's testimony was crucial, wasn't it? Crucial in getting the defendant sentenced to death.
Yes, and that's precisely why you harbored such deep anger against her. So much anger that he forgot his own guilt.
My client has always maintained that he's innocent of those charges.
Seems rather forgetful. Your client, I mean. Not only did he forget about what he did, but he forgot about the policeman as well.
What do you mean by that?
Your client, you got the title right. It's too bad for her that he didn't forget about her testimony as well.
Well, she's right about that. Mr. Falls is kind of forgetful. No. Press harder. Press harder. You said he forgot what the detective looked like. What did you mean by that?
Well, he couldn't tell who she was without some kind of identification, right?
Quite right. That's why the victim was wearing a scarf as identification.
Why? If I'd been wearing a white scarf that day, then he probably would.
You were wearing a scarf that day. You straight up. What? That's true. It's like a bare man. This is bad. Mr. Falls' reputation just keeps getting worse and worse. Sometimes it's best not to poke you. What should I have it added to your testimony? Because I'm gonna poke a hole in that so wide. Okay. Your Honor, what the one said was just now was tremendously important. I'll take it. I'd like it added to the official testimony.
The prosecution has no objection. After all, the defendant is a killer and a mentally unbalanced one at that. The testimony only helps to further prove the point.
No, that's not why Enough. Witness, if you would.
My pleasure, Mr. Judge.
Guess I'm lucky. Oh, but that's the thing, though. Witness, I want you to look at this photo you took. It's hard to see in the photo, but look at the scarf the victim wore as identification. Oh, you were talking about this scarf right here, eh?
Yes, that's it. The scarf the policewoman was wearing.
I've got her now, just don't mess up. But that's strange. In your testimony, you stated the following. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a scarf. This is the scarf you identified as belonging to the victim. But it certainly doesn't look white to me.
Well, if it was foggy that day and was raining as well, it's not surprising that she mistook it for white.
Sorry, but not this time. The witness just confirmed that this was the victim's scarf. It's true the scarf doesn't look white, but there's only one explanation for this mix-up. The reason why the witness thought the scarf was white is because of the victim's note, which directly said, wear a white scarf for identification. She knew what the note said, so she just thought it was white. Witness, have you ever seen this note?
Note? No, never.
It's top secret, everyone. There's no reason that you would have. No, not unless she's Dahlia Hawthorne. I wonder about that.
What do you mean?
This note shows Mr. Falls' instructions to the victim regarding their meeting. It says, wear a white scarf for identification.
White scarf?
Witness, you knew what this note said. And it's because you knew that you slipped up and mistakenly said white scarf. Well, Miss Foster? And I'll tell you what, there's the motivation right there. Let me see this again. The victim's note. Talk to Dahlia, tell her this time the whole truth must come out. The motivation for murder is that he knew the secret behind their little kidnapping scam to get the diamond. He knew the secret, so she didn't want him to tell the secret. There's the motive right there.
I'm quite sure this note wasn't leaked to the public.
And yet, the witness knew exactly what the note said. At the time of the murder, the number of people that knew were quite limited. Terry Falls is one, the person who wrote the note, Valerie Hawthorne is another, and finally, one more person. Did you say one more person?
That's right, a person that no one suspected. Have you figured it out, kitten?
Yup. The third person that knew the contents of the note was... Dahlia Hawthorne. Gotcha! And that person is... Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne? I've never heard the name before. Look at the victim's note. This is what it says. Talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time. There is her name right there. Well, what's this? So who is this person? This Dahlia Hawthorne.
Miss Faye must be desperate if she's trying to bring the dead back to life. The dead? Dahlia Hawthorne was the victim's deceased younger sister. She was killed in a crime 5 years ago.
Killed in a crime? You don't mean...
Yes, she was kidnapped and killed by Terry Falls.
She said she was killed, but was she really?
What are you implying?
Of course, people thought she had died 5 years ago when she fell off the Dusky Bridge and was lost in the Eagle River. However, her corpse was never found.
She was declared legally dead 5 years ago. As far as the law is concerned, Dahlia Hawthorne is officially dead.
But the fact remains that her body was never recovered. Dahlia Hawthorne was 14 years old 5 years ago. If she were still alive, she would be 19 now. Melissa Foster. I believe that's the same age you are.
Even you couldn't. Miss Faye, you're not saying...
But I am. That's precisely what I'm saying. This witness before us is the girl that was kidnapped and killed 5 years ago. This girl is in fact Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. What?
Ha, nice work. That was like tossing a grenade into a 3-alarm fire. But unless you can tie all the loose ends together, you're nothing but a hit-and-run arsonist.
I understand. If I can expose her true nature, I can turn this whole case on its head. Now is my chance to make Mr. Edgeworth squirm. Witness, just who are you anyway?
I didn't think it'd come to this. That's enough. You don't have to say any more, witness. Yes, I understand.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, explain yourself.
Your Honor, I have an admission to make. I honestly never thought the defense would pursue the matter this far.
You don't mean...
Yes, the prosecutor's office isn't filled with fools, you know. Naturally, we conduct full background checks on all our witnesses.
What did he say?
Ha, it looks like the kid knew. He knew her true identity from the get-go.
No way, but then why?
If you hadn't revealed her secret, he wasn't going to say anything about it. All he wanted was her testimony, so he made a little trade.
Let me introduce you to the victim's younger sister, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
But, I thought she died 5 years ago.
We thought so as well, but, well, as you can see...
Why? Why did she hide her identity for 5 years?
That has nothing to do with the current case. She was merely an accidental witness to a crime.
Accidental? I don't believe that for a minute. For the last 5 years, she's been playing the role of victim. And now we find her acting suspiciously at the scene of another murder?
Really, Miss Faye, I must say your strategy here is painfully obvious. You're trying to pin your client's crime on an innocent witness in order to win. At any cost.
How dare you?
Please let's take a moment to think. 5 years ago, this girl was kidnapped and nearly killed. But even worse than that, 5 years later, Dahlia Hawthorne lost something much more precious, her big sister. Miss Faye must be insane to even suggest that she murdered her.
What? I'm inclined to agree with the prosecutor's logic. Miss Faye, do you have any evidence to back up your assertion? Yes, I do. What's the reason what a witness have for killing her beloved sister? Well, you see, thought I was winning, but somebody's turned it around on me.
Ha, I think you need a little push in the right direction, kitten. The defense is prepared to present evidence supporting our claim.
Ah, that wasn't me. It was this guy, this crazy coffee addict.
I think we've heard enough empty threats from you, old man.
Ha, what makes you think they're empty, boy?
Because your protege looks like she's sweating bullets.
Ah, I am sweating bullets.
You think you're in a tough spot, huh?
Of course, aren't I?
No, you just arrived in the moment of truth, that's all. Whether you win or lose, that's up to you.
Up to me?
Oh, the rashness of youth, how charming.
It's coming from someone younger than me. No, let's not waste any more time. Miss Faye, what role does this witness have for murdering her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne? The note says it pretty clearly. The story starts after Terry Falls escaped. He called Valerie and told her he wanted to meet. This is the note she left. He says, talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time the whole truth must come out. Valerie Hawthorne gave Dahlia a warning. She told her she was going to reveal to the world the whole truth. The whole truth? There was a dangerously important secret between Valerie and Dahlia. That's the reason Dahlia felt she had to kill Valerie. To keep her mouth shut permanently.
A terrific story, Miss Faye. If you like fiction, that is. Enlighten the court, Miss Faye. What was the secret that was so important? What's your evidence?
Dahlia and Valerie Hawthorne and Terry Falls. There's only one important secret that connects them all.
Oh, yes, I know this secret. Your Honor, the defense would like to request further testimony. What testimony? Regarding the kidnapping 5 years ago. We believe it will explain a lot of things, such as the nature of the important secret between the Hawthorne sisters. Very well. I grant your request for further testimony. I know it'll be painful for you, but can you enlighten us once more, my little make-believe?
Yes, I'll try, Mr. Judge.
Putting the all on the old charm one more time, Dahlia? But this will be the last time you hide behind your womanly wiles. Alright, give us one last testimony, shall we? Let's seal this case shut.
5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Falls. The ransom price was a raw diamond. My sister, Valerie, brought it to the bridge. After she made the exchange, she shot Mr. Falls in the arm. That's when Mr. Falls tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind.
From behind? No. Just straight up no. Just straight up no. Hold on a minute. Here's the map. You were at the back of the bridge, and over the back of the bridge, if he tried to shove you from behind, guess where you would have gone? You would have gotten a face full of jagged rocks. You would not have survived that. So, no, he definitely did not try to push you from behind. Solid 3 out of 10 attempt, though. You're really good at these 3 out of 10 attempts.
The kidnapping left her emotionally scarred. With her sister's help, she left the Hawthorne family and started all over again. And would you believe after all that, she murdered her sister? Preposterous.
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Faye? Yes, Your Honor. As you've heard, the witness is still traumatized from the kidnapping. I'll ask you again to be extremely gentle in your cross-examination. Mr. Edgeworth got the jump on me again.
Ha, if we're not allowed to fight, then let's twist some arms. Listen up, we still got that info. That is about Steve.
What info?
Come on, kitten, don't say you've forgotten already. The fact that the kidnapping 5 years ago was staged.
That's right, it was a fake kidnapping. Terry Falls told us that in the lobby. Which means all we have to do is just prove it was a fake, and we'll skip all this, and we can do that pretty easily. That's her secret. Because she couldn't have been pushed from behind, or else she would have gotten a face full of rocks. So, I'm gonna go with a hearty no on that one. You say that Mr. Falls pushed you into the Eagle River? However, that's hard to believe.
But it's true, I felt a push on my back. I'm certain of it was Mr. Falls.
I'm sorry, I guess I wasn't clear enough. I shouldn't have said that's hard to believe. I should have said that's impossible.
Impossible?
I asked that the court recall the condition of Dusky Bridge now and 5 years ago. That bridge hasn't changed one bit in these last 5 years. If someone had pushed you from behind as you have claimed, instead of being carried away by the river, you would have been smashed by the bedrock below, a most certain death. Do you understand now, Dahlia Hawthorne? The very notion that my client pushed you from behind is impossible.
Your Honor, this event occurred 5 years ago. Why, for all we know, the water level in the river may have been higher back then.
But it's 40 feet from the bridge to the river. A small change in the water level wouldn't have made a difference. You're going down, Dahlia, for the second time in this game. You're right, even though the events occurred just as the witness testified, then the defendant couldn't have pushed the witness into the river. Young lady, what is the meaning of this?
You see?
Just a moment, Your Honor. It's true that the witness testified that the defendant pushed her into the river. However, she never stated that she fell from the back end of the bridge.
What? What do you mean?
After being shot in the arm, it's possible that Mr. Falls panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge.
If that's true, she would have fallen into the river. Let me look at that photo again. No, buddy. I don't care how strong you are. When Valerie Hawthorne has a gun trained on you, even after you've been shot in the arm, no less, you are not lifting anybody up over those ropes. Nice try, buddy. That's just wrong. That's just straight up wrong. Well, Miss Hawthorne, is Mr. Edgeworth's explanation correct?
Now that you mention it, I do remember now, when I fell off the bridge, my skirt got caught on one of the bridge's side wires.
You can't be serious. Order in the court.
It seems Miss Faye's assault has finally reached its conclusion.
No, the ropes are too high. Now, this is no time to retreat. Unfortunately for you, this is just the start of Miss Faye's assault.
What?
I believe your reasoning went something like this, Mr. Edgeworth. After being shot in the arm, it's possible that Mr. Falls panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. However, once again, I'm forced to say that's impossible.
Ridiculous. What's so possible about it?
Because your flawed logic contradicts the court record. Your Honor, all of the answers are right here in this photo. Take a look at the wires supporting both sides of the bridge. They extend up to about 5 feet off the ground. It would be impossible to push someone off from there.
But let's remember the size and strength of the defendant. Wires like this wouldn't be a problem for him.
Could have easily— He was just shot in the arm, you twit! So young and already so forgetful, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Falls had been shot in the right arm. And more importantly, Valerie Hawthorne had a gun trained on him at point-blank range. But the amount of time it would have taken for that to happen, no. So, Mr. Falls, throwing the witness off the bridge, that is clearly impossible. Whoa. Order, order, what is the meaning of this? Dahlia Hawthorne, you jumped into the Eagle River intentionally. What? What is this?
Indeed, what do you mean by such a ridiculous remark?
Yes, it's ridiculous. My sister was there to help me. She had her gun and handcuffs. She could have saved me. Jumping into a raging river like that would have been suicide.
Perhaps, but still, that's exactly what you did. You were probably confident you could handle the swift current, but even more so, the witness had much more compelling reason for jumping into the river.
Oh, then what was it? What's important to jump into the river?
The diamond. The witness is still alive. This fact alone explains everything. This is why she risked her life by jumping into the rapids of the Eagle River. 5 years ago, something else disappeared along with Dahlia that day. The item that Valerie brought up the mountain with her, that $2 million diamond.
No, it can't be.
Yes, Dahlia had it all planned from the beginning. The $2 million, she was going to keep it all for herself. She forced Mr. Falls to help her fake the kidnapping. At the last minute, she betrayed him and threw herself into the river, with the ransom tucked away safely in her backpack.
Why, that's simply ridiculous.
Order, order, order.
Your Honor, 5 years ago, the witness was only 14 years old. Do you really think a 14-year-old is capable of such a demonic plan?
This woman is a demon, and there was one more person who helped make a demon out of her. Her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. You mean the victim was involved in the kidnapping plot as well?
But she was a detective then. You're saying she participated in her sister's kidnapping?
Precisely. I'm sure that it weighed heavily on her conscience for the past 5 years. This is the sole reason behind the victim's murder. What do you mean by that? On the day of the murder, after receiving the phone call from Mr. Falls, Valerie called her sister, Dahlia. And then she told her what she was planning to do.
Who's going to tell the whole truth? As she wrote in a note.
That is what sealed Valerie Hawthorne's fate. That is when you hatched your demonic plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. A plan that would ensure neither of your accomplices to the kidnapping would talk. And that is why you killed your sister, Valerie Hawthorne. I love a speechless court.
Who is that laughing in a town like this?
It's you.
Forgive me, it's just hilarious.
Well, witness, is that you?
You amuse me, woman. Miss Mia Fey. You can certainly weave an exciting tale. Naturally. You have the evidence to back it up, don't you?
Evidence?
Evidence that I planned on kidnapping.
Just get Terry up here to testify.
That at 14 I plotted it with Mr. Falls and my sister?
Well,
And one more thing. What happened to the $2 million diamond? If you can't provide evidence, we'll at least show that.
Well, Miss Frey, I don't know.
What a joke, you, Miss Fey. Are you stupid or something?
Yeah, I just unraveled your whole scheme. What do you mean? Just get Terry up on the stand. Get Terry on the stand. I don't have just tell Terry to testify. Well, it seems we've come to the end. To be honest, the witness's behavior does seem to raise suspicions. However, I am forced to reject the assertions made by the defense.
Of course you are.
Just get Terry up on the stand. That girl's made a fool of me and there's nothing I can do about it.
Huh. Well, that evidence the trial is over. Who decided that?
Mr. Armando.
Come on now, kitten. Haven't you figured out you can make up your own rules? For example, even if there's no evidence, there's still testimony.
Testimony?
On the day in question, Dahlia Hawthorne murdered her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. She hid her body in the trunk of Mr. Fall's stolen car and then went to meet with him. And disguised her as her sister, Valerie Hawthorne, is what you think, right?
Yes, that's right.
In that case, there's only one answer, right? There's only one person left who can testify for Dahlia Hawthorne's murder.
Since there's no proof is the only thing, who is the one person? It is... you. Your Honor, the defense wishes to call a new witness. A new witness? Yes, we would like to hear the testimony of Terry Falls.
The defendant?
There's only one person that can shed any further light on the situation. Only one person who knows what Dahlia's role in the kidnapping was. Only one person that can say whether the person in the photo was Valerie Hawthorne or whether it was in fact her younger sister Dahlia disguised as her. There's only one person who can solve this riddle once and for all, and that person is Terry Falls. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what is your take on this?
Why not? The prosecution has no objection.
Very well. Bailiff, bring the defendant to the witness stand. This is my last chance, Mr. Falls. My last chance to establish Dahlia's guilt. You're all I have left. Defendant, you've heard everything that's been said up until this point, yes?
I don't believe it. No way. Dahlia died 5 years ago. Valerie betrayed me.
Mr. Falls, I don't know what she said to you 5 years ago, but one thing is clear. Dahlia is very much alive, and you were used for $2 million. That's not true. Mr. Falls, there's only one question I want the answer to. 2 years ago on Dusky Bridge, who did you meet? Was it Valerie Hawthorne or was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
Dahlia, did you betray me? 5 years ago, she promised never ever betray each other.
Terry.
Dahlia, it's true, you are alive.
You don't trust me anymore? That makes me sad.
Tell the truth, the real truth. I believed in you.
I shouldn't need to say it, you should already know. But there's one thing I will say. My life is in your hands right now, Terry.
Dahlia.
I will allow Mr. Falls to testify once and... I will allow Mr. Falls to testify once and once only. Well done, Mr. Falls. Yours will be the final testimony in this trial. Witness. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Water, please, water.
Huh?
Can't talk, need water. Oh well, I guess it'll have to be my coffee instead. At least it'll match the way he's probably feeling right now. Darker and bitterer than hell itself.
The game is not even trying to hide the fact that it's totally goat up. Okay, who Terry Falls saw?
That day, 4 p.m. I stopped the car. I was in front of the bridge. She wasn't there, so I waited on the...
Wait, wasn't she there first? Wait a second. Yeah, she was there first. Cause she's further along the bridge than he is. She wouldn't have gone past him if he got there first. So no, she got there first. So that's just wrong.
Once I talked to the bridge, never found a body in that car. Finally, one woman came, she stood in front of me, we talked. When she left, there was Valerie and Dahlia.
Yeah, but she got there before you. Mr. Falls, you're covering for her. Do you think she would...
That's enough, Miss Fay. His last statement was a fitting way to end the final testimony of the trial.
What? Well done, Miss Frey. Please proceed with your cross-examination. Is this how you wanted to end, Mr. Falls? Another guilty verdict to go along with your death sentence?
There's only one person who can stop it. You, kitten, I think.
Well, I can definitely do that, because the photo proves pretty nicely that she did, in fact, get there before you. So when you got to the bridge, no one had arrived, huh? So you waited on the bridge? You're sure of that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're sure, huh? Well, then I'm sure too, Mr. Falls. I'm sure that you're lying.
Huh?
Oh, I'd love to hear your rationale on this, Miss Fay.
You want to know who arrived at the bridge first? Just look at this photo, it's pretty clear. Obviously, the person that came first would be the one at the end of the bridge, right?
But that's the victim at the end of the bridge.
Precisely my point. In other words, Mr. Falls, you must have arrived at the bridge after she did. Mr. Falls, please don't get so worked up. We just want the truth.
I got there around 4 o'clock, it's true. I had someone to go with special place.
Did you go to a special place before you went to the bridge?
Yeah, it's not until about 50 minutes from the bridge. 5 years ago, me and Dahlia, we promised each other. We swore we wouldn't betray each other. She brought a memento to represent our love.
The diamond. She brought the diamond, I'm guessing? A memento?
5 years ago, I hid it under the base of a tree there. It's a special memory for me. This is...
It's the necklace. Wait. The necklace. The necklace in the first case. It's quite time. It looks empty. Your Honor, that's you heard what my client said. He arrived at the scene at 4 o'clock. But he then left his car unattended and walked away. He's gone for approximately 30 minutes. Ugh. With that much time, Dahlia Hawthorne could have easily hidden the body in the trunk of his car.
Indeed, there was certainly enough time for it.
I still got a chance, Mr. Falls. There's no mistaking it. What? Oh! The necklace! The necklace is poison! He's gonna kill himself! He's gonna kill himself!
That's enough, please.
Witness?
I promised you 5 years ago, if it ever happens, then we can't trust each other no more than a supposed to drink bottle.
No, stop the trial! Your Honor, we need a recess!
I was stupid, couldn't keep promise, so I didn't reject this.
No, we're so close, there's a little more! I was gonna prove your innocence!
No, don't want that, don't trust yourself, maybe kill again, kill sweet Dahlia.
Mr. Falls!
Mr. Armando, thanks for the coffee.
Mr. Falls! Okay. Credit where it's due. They definitely did not write themselves into a corner. That's actually a really clever way to get around that story beat. That Mia never lost a case and Edgeworth never lost a case. Technically speaking, nobody won or lost this case because the defendant died. Oh, wow, that's certainly one way to go about doing things. And with no winners, only losers. Wow. I end up with a wound that cut so deep into my soul I thought it'd never heal. I'm sure it was the same for the young prosecutor as well. The one person, the true criminal Dahlia Hawthorne, she left the courtroom with a secret smile on her demonically sweet face.
Unforgivable, that witch.
Mr. Armando.
We were so close to the truth, it was right there in front of us. You were just a little too soft, kitten.
It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself.
Don't cry, kid. You're gonna make my coffee all salty.
I knew it. I knew I wasn't cut out for this.
Yeah. Don't you get it? You can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
Mr. Armando. No matter how tough the case, no matter how bitter the memories, they always fade over time. Then you file them away and eventually forget them. One year later in this very same courthouse, I myself got wrapped up in that case. Only after that did Dahlia Hawthorne get put on trial for her crimes. Well, better late than never, I suppose. The verdict that was ultimately handed down to her was... guilty, of course. Naturally, when the verdict was read, she had a perfect angelic smile on her face. She's just awful. She's awful. She's such a monster. It was finally all over, at least that's what I thought at the time. Unfortunately, I couldn't have been more wrong. It's been 5 years, but now something has happened that's made me remember all this. Okay, then. Bridge to the Turnabout. That sounds like the name of a final case. And it feels like the whole game has been leading up to this. I don't want it to end. Okay, but that case was so good. That case was so freaking good. And I gotta give credit to the writers. They found a way to pin Mia and Edgeworth against each other without contradicting the pre-established canon. Credit where credit is due. That was such a smart thing. That was such a smart idea. But now, I'm just based on that case title alone and the way that all the previous cases have been building up to this, something tells me this is the final case of the game, and in turn, the final case of the trilogy. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this to end. This has been so much fun. But I suppose all good things must come to an end at some point. Of course, I could be wrong, and there could be more cases, but something about the way all this has been leading up to it, with Dahlia, Mia, Edgeworth, everybody, something tells me that we're coming up on the end here. Well, that's it for this episode, so thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. I hope to catch you all tomorrow for some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Goodbye.